Hi everyone, it is day 18 of our Pilates Advent Calendar and I cannot believe where the time has gone. Today we've got our hip stability, so we're going to be working in standing. I'd like you to come onto the mat and stand with your feet hip distance apart and just take a few seconds to make sure that the weight is going down evenly through your left foot and your right foot. Just ground yourself down into the floor and think about spreading your toes out along the mat as well. So you shouldn't be clutching at the mat. It should be nicely balanced, so the weight going down evenly through the base of your big toe, the base of your little toe, and the base of your heel. Toe muscles are coming in here, and a piece of thread is pulling it through the crown of your head, arms nice and long down by your sides. So we're going to start off with a standing balance. So we're going to be working on the stability of our hips, and going into one-legged standing is a really great way to make sure that they're working really well. So standing tall, toe muscles coming in, let's breathe in. As we breathe out, let's start floating one knee up until it is at hip height and lower down with control. We're trying to keep our hips as level as possible. So try not to drop your hips to the side, keeping our core muscles coming in and floating that leg up until it is at hip height. Lower down with control. Now, if you want to, you can place a finger on a wall or on a chair just to give you that extra help with your balance, and then you can really concentrate on this hip movement. So feel really strong through that supporting leg. Keep your gaze on something in the distance that isn't moving, and that's going to aid your balance as well. And make sure that when you bring that leg up, you're not tucking your pelvis underneath you. Super. So let's go 2 more times on each side. Breathing out to float. Inhale to lower. Out to float up. Inhale to lower, and our last one on each side, keeping your shoulders down, your jaw released. Still have that piece of thread pulling up through the crown of your head, so you're nice and tall here. Bring that leg up and lower it back down. We're going to make it a little bit more tricky now by adding in a hip opening. So we're going to float that leg up just like before, and then just as you balance, try and open that leg out to the side like a gate. Bring back in. Lower down. So now we're getting the glutes working as well as they work to open out that hip. So opening out, back through, lower down. Still got that core connection. Breathing out to float, out to open, inhale to return back, and back down. Super duper. Going again. Opening, out to the side, back through, and down. 2 more to each side. Now, the more you do this, the easier it should feel, and as your muscles warm up, you might find that you can open that gate a little bit further. Again, super for your hip strength and your hip mobility and stability. Last one to each side here, breathing out to bring that leg up. Opening out to the side, keep your gaze going forward. And our last one here, bring that knee up. Opening out, back through, and down. Super. Just walking through your feet here to get a bit of movement through your ankles before we go into something called a hinge. Now, we've done Pilates squats before, and we're going to go do those again in a little bit, but this time we're working into a hinge. So again, stability through your spine and through your legs. So feet are hip distance apart. I find it really helps to put your hand on your hips, so it just gives you a little bit of awareness of where you're trying to bend. And then as we breathe out, we're going to just try and hinge forward from the hips. So your toe muscles are coming in, you're keeping your spine in neutral, and you're hinging forward before returning. So you can see that your legs aren't really moving, you're just hinging at the hip. So this is why your hands are helpful, because they can just aid you a little bit. So long back of neck, long spine, hinging forward, returning through, shoulders coming back down. Good. Let's go again. We're hinging forward, toe muscles coming in as you hinge, maybe getting a little bit further this time. And 3 more. Now you can try and go into a long arm balance like this if you wish. You can just really imagine that you're like one of those like toy figures that just bends only at the waist. And you're really going to have to use your core here to make sure that your spine stays in neutral. So very different from our Pilates squats. So hinging and coming back up. Okay, so we're going to make that a little bit more difficult now because we're going to add in a single leg balance. So we're going to stand feet hip distance apart once again, gaze going forward. We're going to hinge down, Don't go quite as far this time though, because we're going to try and float one knee up. Oh, that didn't go to plan. Float one knee up and then just tap it behind you. Bring it back up and through. So you're maintaining this hinge, knee coming up, tap behind you, feel these core muscles switching on, hips working super hard to maintain this movement and coming down. So it might feel a little bit weird, but as you do this more, you should get a bit more familiar and a little bit more smooth with it. So back into our standing correctly, hinge forward about half the way as we did before, and then float one knee up, keep that supporting leg super long and super stable. It's really tempting to bend that knee, but we're not going to bend the knee, and bring back up. Super, going again. Hinge forward, float that knee up, touch behind you, return through, and up. Good. 2 more like this. So imagine that you have a broom handle attached to the back of your head, the back of your neck, and the back of your spine, and you can't move at all. So that's really going to help you here not to bend. Okay, last one. Bring that knee up, touch behind you with control. Bring that foot through and stand up, and give your legs a little bit of a rest once again. Well done. Okay, we're going to go straight into some Pilates squats now. So we're working on our stability in a different way. So if you know that your knees fall in towards each other, I like to place a squishy ball like this one, or a thick cushion between your knees, and that's just going to help you a bit more with your alignment and really help stabilize your knees and your hips. So we're going to start feet slightly closer together than hip distance apart. As we inhale, we're going to squat down. So we're folding at the knees, the hips, and the ankles. So this time, toe muscles coming in, very different from the hinge because we've got our knees bending as well. Tummy muscles coming in to support you. Imagine that broom handle again attached to the back of your head and your spine. And press through and up. Good. So we're inhaling, sinking down, toe muscles coming in, arms nice and long and heavy. Exhale to come up. Coming down again, don't forget to get that core connection. Pressing through and up. Lovely. We're going to go 3 more normal times like this. So sinking down, coming up, and maybe trying to get a little bit deeper now that your muscles have warmed up a bit. Check what's going on with your knees. Make sure they're not falling in. And our last one here, so sinking down, tummy muscles coming in, arms hanging heavy, knees bending, and press through and up. Give your legs a little bit of a walk out because we're going to make this slightly harder for our stability now by adding in some floating arms. So we're going to take our bodies off center. You're really going to have to work through those hips, those legs, and the core to make sure you don't fall over. So back into that same position. This time as we inhale and squat, we're going to float our arms up in front of us, level with our shoulders, sinking down. Exhaling to come up, standing nice and tall. So inhaling, bottom going back, arms floating up and forward. Coming all the way up. So it should feel slightly harder now because your center of gravity is changing and you're really going to have to use those core muscles to make sure you don't fall. Lovely. Let's go again. Sinking down, arms traveling up in front of you. Pressing through and up. 3 more to go. Lovely. And our final couple. Remember to breathe in. Maybe try and get a little bit deeper on that squat now. And our last one. Inhaling to sink down. Exhaling to come all the way up. Good. Okay, so let's add some heels in now. So this is really going to challenge your stability because we're going to sink down on the inhale. And as you exhale, just try and raise your heels up into the air. Then keep your heels raised. Whoa, that didn't go to plan as you stand nice and tall. Let's try that again. So as you can see, it's quite challenging. So heels coming up. And then smoothly stand up and bring your arms down. You're going to challenge your leg and your ankle stability on this and then bring your heels down. That was much better. Let's go again. Inhale to sink down, arms traveling up, coming onto your tiptoes and then smoothly standing nice and tall, heels still up, arms traveling down, lower down with control. Fab work. 2 more like this. Heels coming up. Keep your legs really strong as you come all the way back up. lower down with control, and our final one here. Standing nice and tall, arms traveling down, reaching all the way back up. Lower your heels down with control and give your feet a little bit of a walk out. Now, just to finish, we're going to go into a roll down. So I'd like to stand feet hip distance apart once again. Imagine you have a massive big beach ball in front of you and you're trying to roll up and over that beach ball. So arms nice and long and heavy, piece of thread pulling through the crown of your head to start with, and breathe in. As you breathe out, let's tuck our chin under, soften your breastbone and start rolling forward, one bone at a time, tummy muscles coming in, arms hanging nice and long and heavy as you roll forward and down. Let your head and your arms hang like a rag doll at the bottom. Take a nice deep breath in here. Maybe even feel a stretch at the back of your hamstrings, breathing in. And as you breathe out, open out your hips. And one bone at a time, start to roll all the way back up to the top. Nice and tall here, wonderful. Okay, just to finish, let's take 2 final breaths. So standing, feet hip distance apart once again, breathing in. As you breathe out, let's raise our arms all the way up into the air, grasp your wrist, and bring yourself over to the side into a lovely banana stretch. Back up to the top, grab the other arm, come over to that lovely side stretch again. Stand nice and tall and press the air away. And give yourself a clap, well done. I'd love to hear how you got on with that lesson, so please let me know. I'm going to be back tomorrow, every day until Christmas, for some more 10-minute Pilates. So I hope you enjoyed the session. Take care of yourselves and see you soon. Bye-bye.